So I'm just going to start up Companion, and I'm just going to take you through maybe 10 features now that are just going to show you some of the things you can do as you go along. You'll probably get if you're new to QPSMR, you'll get a feel for what QPSMR is about, but you will probably need a full demonstration. As I say, if you're new and haven't seen it in full before, I would commend you to get in touch with Nikki and she'll arrange a full demonstration. So one of the new things in the QPSMR Companion is some of the tools that speed up putting in your questionnaire. So, for example, one of the things that I know people have always found quite slow is typing in the responses, where they in the Insight you have to enter each one at a time and hit return and choose the next one and the next one, and that can be quite a slow process. So copying and pasting is something that you can do now. So we could, for example, go to a Word questionnaire that I've got open here, and if I've got this on a paper questionnaire, I could literally just go and copy and paste. So I made a mess of that. Let's do it again. I can copy and paste these entries here, and I could have copied the question as well. How often do you buy Coca-Cola? And then I can go to the responses tab, which is here, click on this icon here, and I can just paste in those responses, and that is it done. So that's something that's already a lot quicker if you want to take texts, or if you're taking the text from, if you're not using QPS for data entry, you're just using it for analysis. You may have a program, you may be taking data from, I don't know, Confirm It or something. You can just drop all the text out of Confirm It and then just paste them in that really easy way. And of course the same is true there as well. So I can, if you've got your text in Excel, so let's just do the same there. Single, what is your favorite brand? I really can't type, can I? But it does prove I'm doing it live, if nothing else. And I can go into here, and I've got an Excel workbook here open somewhere. I think I have anyway. Let's see if I've got it. Yeah, here we go. So I've got a list here, which is a pretty... So I've got 132 brands in here, rather conveniently called brand 1 to brand 132. And I can literally just paste those in there, click OK, and there are all my brands in the software. Another thing you've got in here now is an undo button. So if you did paste the wrong thing in, you have got an undo button here, which just takes it all out. And it's all gone again now. So you can easily copy and paste things if you want to by that method. But I'm going to sort of paste it back in again. There we go. And there's my 132 brands just taken from a spreadsheet automatically. The next thing that I'm going to show you is that you can also apply changes to blocks of codes and so on. And there's a lot of things that apply to blocks. So, for example, I could pick these brands here. I don't know why I've just picked brands 5 to 10, and I could pick an analysis option such as suppressive 0. Now, I know you wouldn't want to do that necessarily, but if I wanted to do that in the past, I would have had to have selected each one at a time and applied it. Whereas now I've applied an analysis option to those 6 brands just by highlighting them all at once, picking the option down here. And that's true of all the other options that are in here for applying filters to codes or anything else that you want to do to control your data. You can just highlight the responses that you want and apply them to all of those responses in one go. Let's have a look at the next thing on my list. So let's close that and save that. And let's add another question. So I'm going to call this Q3_1. How do you rate brand A? I'm going to put the responses in, as very, whoops, I can't type again, very good, quite good, okay, quite poor, and very poor. Click OK and save that. Oh, I left it as a multi. I meant to make it a single. That's it. So that should make it okay. So that's that question. And now I can copy this question if I want to do brand B. So I can just click copy, click the paste special, copy it to question 3_2. Copy the responses, and I've got that. And all I need to do then is to go back in and change that to brand B. And finally, I could paste special again, change that to Q3_3, copy the responses, and just quickly change that to C. Now I know what happens here. Suddenly you realize when you've done this that you forgot, in Insight this is, that you wanted to add a reject category, or you wanted to apply some scores to each of those. And you used to have to go through and update each one, or perhaps update the first one and just start the copy paste procedure again. Now you've got another block command available here. So I can edit all of these responses using the block responses update. And I got a selection of different things I could do. So I could insert a no answer given code. I can change the text if I want to. So I can apply that, and you can now see that I've got 6 responses here. So I've got the 5 codes I typed in, plus the additional no answer given. And I can also do things like scores in here. So I could say, well, I forgot to put the scores in, but I actually wanted to score this as 5 and go down in descending order down to 1. And I want to apply that as well. And so now all of my questions are scored 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Really good productivity gain type things. And you've got some other things. I won't take you through all these things, but you can put in ranking. You could add a summary row to each of those questions, which was a top 2 box, for example, which would again have been a fairly laborious task in the past. You can just add a top 2 box and a bottom 2 box in one go to all of those questions. You've also got some tools. This is on to the next thing I'm going to show you now, which is adding a question in. Let's go for question 4. Let's make it single. Let's say, how do you rate your journey to work? Not enough to going to work by a journey at the moment, but if you'll forgive me for saying that. And you've got a new checkbox here which says values at end of lines to be used as mean scores. So this is a much quicker way to get your mean scores in now. You can just say very good 5, quite good 4, okay 3, quite poor 2, and very poor 1. You could even have a not stated there if you like and put no score on the end, and you can see it's applied that all for you. Save it. So hopefully what you're getting out of that is that you can see there's some really good shortcuts in there now to make you more productive. I've not shown you everything by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just giving you a glimpse of some of the things that will really save you time if you come to use this upgrade or you buy into a QPSMR license. All right. So let's look at a couple of things. Another new feature is a data issue I'm going to show you. There are quite a few improvements to the data management. I'm only going to show you one here. One thing that we find quite a lot is that people have data in Excel these days. This is partly because some of the data collection software that people use only can output data to CSV or Excel. And there's been a demand to get data into QPSMR from Excel. So we built a nice shortcut way of doing that now. So if I open up another project here, I could insert my questions. I'll do this very quickly. So you can see the data I've got here has got a serial number, Q1, Q2, Q3, where Q1 is a 1-2 answer, Q2 is a 1-2-3, and Q3 has got some numbers in it, perhaps a score out of 100 or something like that. So let's quickly set that up at sort of top speed here. Gender, we'll call this one as it's 1 and 2. Responses, male, female. Okay, and save that. And let's put another question in. Q2, oops, Q2 is important that the name is the same actually as the spreadsheet. Let's call that region and go to the responses, add those in. Let's go for North, Central and South. And finally, we'll put in an integer, which is that number that we had in for question 3. And we'll say that's an integer. Number of cans, oops, I've mistyped it. Number of cans of Coca-Cola bought. And we'll set that to a width of 3. And that's that. So I've got my questionnaire set up here. Let's save it as new test. So that's saved it. And now I can import that data because I've got the question numbers here, matching my data here. I can literally go into data, update data file, browse, go and find that file that I've just been showing you. So let's go onto my drive here. Just got to go and find it. And click OK. Open it. And sure enough, there's that data imported into QPSMR now. Only 3 records, but there's the values. You can see they've all come in. And this is in fact a new editor that's in QPSMR Companion now, so you can actually edit this data if you want to, which makes it much easier to work with. But this also means now that I can do some very quick analysis on this. You can see now that if I open up this data file, I've got 3 records in there, and if I drag gender into here, I get the counts for gender. And if I can, what did I put? Region in there, sorry. If I put gender in here, you can see there's my 3 records that I pulled in. All that data has been pulled in directly from Excel now and producing some analysis, which I can put percentages on if I want to. So some really nice new tools there to help you with data that's perhaps come out of other software, so that you can analyze that data in QPSMR. All right, I'm now going to open an existing project. Let's close these things. I'm leaving quite a lot of things open here. I'm now going to open a project I've got here. And I'm going to work on this project now. Now, another new thing that's gone into QPSMR Companion is a new tool for weighting. So this is just a questionnaire with about 15 questions or something like that. And there's now a whole new sort of wizard, I would call it, for handling weighting, whether that's target weighting or rim weighting. I haven't got time to go through this in any detail at the moment, but just to give you a feel for what you can do. So I can go into the weight data option within data, which is brand new. I can choose my data file, which is data.ask, and I can start to work on my weighting that I want to apply. So I can say I want to set, you basically work from left to right along these options here, and it does everything for you. So it's like a wizard, although you've got to go there step by step. So I can add an entry for my weighting. So I could say I want to weight my data to some figures for region, and I'm only going to do something simple here. I'm just going to weight to region. You can do age within region, age within gender within region, rim weighting, target weighting. You can do it all, but I really haven't got time to go through that, as it would just be a separate session on weighting. But let's say I want to set the target for region number 1. I could say I want 50% of my respondents to be weighted into that cell. So that's okay. I can go to region number 2. I managed to close it there. Go to the second region and set my target there to be 30%. And I could go to region 3 and set my target there to be 20%. Click OK, and it's understood that. I want to store this weight in a variable called weight. It asks you the name you want to give it. That looks fine to me. Why would I want to call it anything different to that? I can save this weighting matrix so I can use it another time. I haven't got to do that. I can just do it temporarily. And I can then go ahead and prepare checks on my data and go away and calculate the weights that are needed. And then, whoops. And it's now going away to calculate those weights. You can see it down here. And you can see what it's done now. For anybody in region 1, it's applied a weight of 1.27. The respondents here in other cells have got different weights, but what it means now is that I can also produce reports, by the way, in spreadsheets of all these weights and all these figures that I can use or send to a client or check in Excel if I feel that I want to. But then I can just save all this information down here. Just go through everything, save that weighting to the data file and go into analysis, do some analysis here, open up the data file, and you can see now I've got my 831 respondents. They're weighted back to 831. Because of the weighting, my effective sample size is 792, but I can now produce a table of question 3 by region, and my weights, my data now is weighted so that the first region is a third of the sample, and so on. And maybe we can see it a bit more clearly if I put region down here. So now we can see, say, percentages, shall we? Now we can see I've got 50% for the weighted data. This is the unweighted column. It was 39, it's now weighted to 50. 38's become 30 and 23's become 20. And so it looks as though my weighting has worked. And you can see I've got these color markings here for significance tests as well. So quite a lot going on there. All good stuff that you can use when you want to do weighting. Much easier to use, no secret files that you need to have. You can just go through it in a step-by-step manner. All right, so now we're going to look at some table features. So I'm going to produce some tables. Now you saw me just now then doing some tables in the drill down menu. So that's a sort of drag and drop way of doing some quick tables, if you like. So if you wanted to get a quick count of gender by region, you can just do that, and you can add percentages and so on, and you get significance figures out and things like that. So that's a very quick way of doing some tables. If you're producing batches of tables, you'll use a method that's much more like the QPSMR Insight. So you'll go to build a tables file, and let's make a new one. So let's call it demo, and you would work in here, and you can build a banner. It's a little bit quicker to build a banner now than it was before, but you can build a banner. I haven't selected a table. I should have done that. Add a new table. So add a new table. We drag the banner into here, and I can pick as many questions as I want to. So I might pick 1, 2, 3. Let's pick those questions there and drag those into the rows. And I've now got 8 tables set up just like that. So that's not too dissimilar to what we had before. What you can do now, though, is you can apply changes to individual or blocks of tables. So using the control key, I could pick those 3 tables there, type in a format option or some other option or a filter or something like that, and, for example, pick DPR2, which means 2 decimal places for my mean scores. So I can just apply it to selected tables. So I can set up all my tables quickly, and then any tables I want something different on, like a filter or a format, I can just apply it separately for those tables. And we can run it here. I can run all the tables, or I can run selected tables. So I'm going to run all the tables. And switch sheets. And now what QPSMR does, it defaults by running tables out to Excel. But if you want tables in the old style TXT as well, there's a checkbox here that you can enter and save, and it will remember that now. It'll run my tables. The default will be now that it's in Excel format. And so this is what you get now, a table of contents with all your tables effectively down different worksheets. So if we want to look at table number 1, there's the table with column percentages and whole numbers. If we want to go back to the contents, we can go to table 2, and that's the one where you may remember I put 2 decimal places, so I've got 2 decimal places there. And of course you can go along to the sheets this way to look at the other tables. I think it was table 8 I had, no, I can't remember which table I had 2 decimal places as well. This one here, table 9, also had 2 decimal places. Not a very interesting table, that one. So you now get your tables in Excel format. I check the box to output them in text format as well. So I have got my tables here as a text file as well. So if you prefer them in that format, I clicked on it then and I thought, but it didn't open. Oh, I've opened Excel up, have I? So I meant those tables. So there's the tables in, if you like, the old format where they come out in a text file, if that's something that you prefer for that particular project. All right, so that's sort of taking you sort of quickly around how you can do batches of tables, how you can make changes to blocks of tables, how you can flick between Excel and TXT tables. Another new feature that we've put in, which I think people will like, is, if I can get back to the project, is the ability to do banked summary tables. And so we've now got a new grid table feature. So if you click on that, and all you've got to do for a grid table feature, as long as the variables are called a name underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it will understand these as a grid. So that if you just pick the first one and have just selected the grid table feature, which I did here, you'll see columns blanked out, but just drop that one into the rows there. And let's just, we'll run all the tables again. But we should get an extra table now. So we get table 10 now. And you can see very, very easily, I've got a very nice summary table out now with their mean scores and significance tests on the mean scores coming out as well. So that's something that's really quite a nice new feature in QPSMR Companion, the ability to do a summary table with, I was going to say one click, but certainly not far out from one click. You've got some other tools in here as well. You've got some more, let's just shut this down. You've got some more sort of data exploration tools so that you can do combinations of data. So you can get a summary report of all your data very quickly now. So you get the counts and the percentages. I can click on any question I like, and I can just browse through and see what answers I've got for every question. Similarly, under analysis now, you've got a combinations report that you can produce. So any question that's got multis, you can see what combinations of data people are giving. So let's just open that up. So this is telling me, here's the number of records that had combination of 1, 3, and 6, and there you go. So there's sort of all the combination of data in a really nice spreadsheet format. That's a really good little quick tool if, for example, you've got combination of brands bought or something like that that you're interested in finding out more about. All right, so I've given you a very quick tour of the new QPSMR companion. I'm just going to give you a very quick introduction to Resolve. This is only the base version I'm giving you an introduction to here. Now I know some people have seen this, but this is the new free version that's available, and I'm just going to open up a new project here, call it new project, and open up this Resolve project, and you'll see at once that it's the same project as we were looking at just now in the companion. This is free to distribute, this version, to anybody. As I said, there's a premium version that will let you do even more than this, in the sense that it will let you do any analysis that MRDCL can do and automate chart production and report production in PowerPoint. So we create reports. So I can produce a table or tables here. So I can go to the rows. I can pick, let's pick question 3 here. I can pick question, what should we pick? Gender, region. Pick region. I can produce a table and a chart. So I'll click on both. And it's got a whole selection of different chart types that you can produce. I'll just stick with the default for now. I can run that. We'll run them unweighted. And that's given me the figures, which I think we saw just now actually. But what it's also given me is those figures in a chart. So here they are. I should have ran some format options there to just make that look a bit neater. But we'll attempt to make it a bit neater. I've got some blank lines here. I should have used blank suppression to get rid of some of the things, and I should have probably got rid of the total column. But you can see I've very quickly got a decent looking chart. In the premium version, you'll be able to push that chart either as it is into PowerPoint, or you'll be able to feed the figures into PowerPoint so that it refreshes with the latest data, which of course is ideal if you're preparing presentations but you haven't got all your data ready, or you're running a tracking study.